My name is Manuel Axel Strain. I'm a two-spirit interdisciplinary artist, and I am from the Musqueam, Secwepemc, and Silk Nations. And I just like to acknowledge that I'm currently working and living on the Katzie and Kwantlen people's land. I just want to mention that today we'll be talking about traumatic things and about stuff that has to do with healing. So I just want the people watching and listening to be aware of that. So the work that I have at Aberdeen SkyTrain Station, it's very personal, but I also view it to be very political. So the beads are trade beads. They were my grandma's and my dad's side, and the wool is obviously a reference to the weaving tradition down here. And the scarf was my mom's mom. Marie was her name, and my other grandma was named Helen. So Helen Point and Marie Eustache. Okay, so I just wanted to share this picture of my mom's mom, Rose Marie. And so this is one of the objects I was talking about. And so you have the scarf, the beads, the picture of my grandma, the wool around my arm, and there's actually clothing from some of my other ancestors that my mom shared with me. This is an image of my dad's mom, Helen Point. She's from the Musqueam side of my family. And I guess when I look, I just imagine her yearning to gain that cultural knowledge back. And I think in many ways, she just took what she could get. And so I think some people might say that what she's wearing isn't traditional or whatever. I think back then, she was just holding on to whatever she could find. So I find this picture to be really beautiful. So what you don't see at the SkyTrain station is what's behind the scarf, the beads, and the wool. What's behind that is my bare arm that has scars on it. And they were self-inflicted about 10 years ago. And I think what caused those scars was sort of the intergenerational trauma that took place here. I had sort of became this person that was very ashamed to be who I was as a two-spirit person. And I had a really weird stage in my life where I was grieving the loss of my two grandmothers. And I say it was weird because my dad's mom died before I was born, and my mom's mom died when I was just a baby. So for decades, I didn't know them. But then when I started to heal from a lot of the trauma that I had endured, I just felt like they were there with me and that I knew them. And so the scarf, the beads, and the wool are from my grandmothers. And I think they sort of act as like a bandage. To this day, I still look to them, to my ancestors, especially right now. Our ancestors would have gone through various pandemics that would have devastated them. And I think the way the installation is installed is, we have my arms raised. And I think in many ways, there's like a sense of optimism to it. It's like a welcoming. And so in many ways, the work is very traumatic, where I was thinking about taking my life, suicide. But in other ways, it's the exact opposite. It's a celebration of my life. It's a celebration of the life of my grandmas and my ancestors. So being that it's in Richmond, I knew I wanted it to have sort of like a very cultural significance. And so the wool, I think, really ties that into my Musqueam heritage. And of course, when we raise our hands, that's a very specific gesture that we as Coast Salish people like to do. So I think I was really thinking about like these welcoming hands that you see on welcome figures, and that connection to my Musqueam heritage. But I wanted it to sort of have a very personal connection to it as well.